Hello and welcome to Savage Universe on Thursday nights on the Pinnacle streams, wherever we're streaming for Pinnacle. I am JM, glad to be back. Yes, it is clobbering time, Cryptrite, and I think Billy Berserker. Happy Monday, buddy! I'm here with the big brains behind Star Anvil Studios. Always a fun time to hang out with both of you gentlemen. Welcome back to Savage Universe. You guys have a Kickstarter going on?
Yeah, we do. I forgot how rocking that intro music was.
I know, right? It's so good. Thanks, Landauer.
Hey, man.
I'm always jamming to it. Yeah, we have a small Kickstarter going on.
Yeah, so my name's Ross Watson. You guys might know me from a lot of Savage World stuff like Accursed or Savage Weird West, or Weird War 1 and Lankmar and Last Parsec and a few other things. And this is my friend and partner, Brandon Verhalen.
Hi, hello. Which you may know me from all the art I have pushed on the Savage Worlds community for the last 5 years.
It is true.
A lot of art.
But as we discussed beforehand, it's okay because Brandon is practically perfect in every way.
Exactly.
It's true. Just like Mary
as long as I can convince my partner of that. There are Ross there.
That's right.
Oh, and don't forget Savage Riffs. How could I forget that guy?
I know, Savage Riffs. Come on.
Forgot about a lot of this. Anyway, but we have a Kickstarter right now for the Secret World for Savage Worlds, or Savage Worlds Secret World, or Savage Secret World. We're still trying to figure out what the best possible way to combine all of those words together without making it into salad.
It's Savage World Secret World, so it's Sawo Siwo.
I mean, it could be SW by SW.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Southwest by Southwest.
Southwest by Southwest, yeah.
Secret Savage World, says Jeffrey. That's great.
Yeah. I always said Savage or Secret Savage Worlds as well. So or Savage Secret Worlds, I think is the way I've been put. It is a confluence of nouns.
Yes. It's a game called Secret World.
Yeah, so Secret World is based on an MMO by a company called Funcom. This MMO was active in the early 2000s, and it involved a setting about a place where all of the cool conspiracy theories were actually true, and cryptids were around, and you were sort of defending Earth from these cosmic horrors. It's a pretty neat setting. It's I would call it like urban fantasy is probably a good way to put it. But it's got a sort of a light dusting of cosmic horror on top of it, which is really cool. And in the Secret World, you play a character that has been chosen by Gaia. You're called a bee because you can hear the buzzing, which is sort of the language of Gaia. And as one of these chosen, yeah, thank you, Cryptrite. Yes, it's an anagram for Virelands. As one of these chosen, these bees, thank you, Scott.
That's right.
You are called upon to deal with various threats. And there are 3 big factions in the game as well. There's multiple factions, but 3 big ones that player characters kind of engage with more often than others, which is the Illuminati, the Dragon, and the Templars. And
blue,
of course,
green, and red.
Yes,
across the cover there, yeah.
And Brandon's just bursting at the seams to tell you more about the Secret World.
It's so amazing. You said it already, Ross. So I like to call, urban fantasy, urban horror. Those are good terms. I also like to call it heroic horror because you are incredibly powerful. Unlike many games that dip into the cosmic horror stuff, and it's always like there's this terrible, dreadful power that's out there, but normally you're like a normal human and there's not much you can do against it. You're easily, like, if you're not really careful, one wrong move, you're dead. You're imbued with the power. First of all, you're immortal. You can't die.
I was going to ask you to talk about those rules.
So if you're murdered, killed, lost in battle, what have you, you can come back. We did a little thing. You can embrace your destiny, so to speak, and that allows you to choose to either take your time in coming back and not have to choose a destiny. But if you choose to come back right away, like Savage Worlds combats are pretty fast. If you wait 5 rounds, you missed combat. Mission may fail. So I want to come back right now. Well, then you can either embrace luminance or shadow. And that's great you're back right away. But every time you do that, you start to lose a little piece of your ability to choose, and you can't die, but you can lose your character.
Yeah, after a while, too many times, and you will become essentially an agent of either of those choices, and you are removed from play as a player character.
I love that because it's a great setting rule, especially for Secret World on multiple levels. One, you're getting that feel of the MMO of, well, crap, I died. Now I've got to run back to my body or, wait some period of time before I can jump back in. But also the whole point of being a bee is that Gaia is like, nope, you're not done, soldier. Get back up. And I love that you've removed death, but not necessarily the consequences of dying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, there's definitely some
which is great.
Yeah,
it took a while to come up with number one. Funcom had to approve it, so that and they first of all, I'll always say when I bring things up, that's not to complain. Funcom has been great to work with, and they're wonderful as far as our end goes. But they've still had to say, well, why do you want to do it this way? How does that kind of play out? Does that represent what we want to represent from the game? And so that took a little bit of time, but not too bad. And yeah, that I feel like represents enough of the game, but still keeps us playing Savage Worlds and not trying to perfectly copy the game. As Ross would remind me, therein lies madness.
Big shout out to Daryl Hardy, who's another Savage Worlds alumni who came up with a lot of these rules and helped us push this thing forward.
Yes,
very cool. Now, there's another new thing. We got art to show off. We've got so much stuff to show off. But let's, Brandon, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Do it.
Another unique thing from the game that you have translated one. So I played a ton of Secret World back in the day. When I downloaded it, I was playing through it, and it didn't really grab me until the moment I realized that there was a built-in browser that you didn't have to leave the game for, that would you were connected to the internet, so you could do searches on what does this mean in Latin, or what's the history behind this ship, so I can solve this puzzle. And as soon as I realized they were attempting to make it as real world as possible, I went down multiple rabbit holes. And one of the things that they had in that game was this idea of conduits. And you have just great looking cards. I'm going to put this image up. Tell us about the conduit cards, and tell us about how you use conduits in Savage Worlds.
Sure. So one thing that Daryl and I went back and forth on, we just had a list of powers, which I told him, I said, that just doesn't really feel like, I mean, it works. It's absolutely functional, but that wasn't in the spirit of the game. I said, is there a way we can do it so that it matches the game, where in the game you switch out, you can have up to 2 weapons on your character in the game, in the video game. I said, why don't we do this? Let's group powers under the weapons, or talismans, which are referred to as conduits. For example, you might have a little magic inscribed little thing in your hand, and you call that a talisman, or you have a gun like an assault rifle or a pistol or a sword. And when you have this conduit, you start off, your archetype starts off with 2 already, and you when you have that conduit, you have a set of powers you're automatically granted. So you don't go through, pick out powers, and they even have their basic trapping described on them. So we could really kind of focus on making things feel a certain way. And for example, I got the assault rifle conduit pulled up, and so like for example, let's see. So one of the novice powers of the assault rifle conduit is Anima Boost, which is really it's a healing power. You can't heal yourself, but you can heal people at range. Okay, which is the assault rifle, for whatever reason, in the game is one of the healing.
It was weird. I remember that.
So we gave it the healing power because it's what it has. But you also have an additional power that's a free action you get. For example, this one, Eagle Eye, looking down the rifle sights, the bee can see everything. The bee can spend a power point to ignore penalties for dim or dark illumination for an hour. That's a free action. You just do it.
And these cards are not just for reference either, because Brandon, you can tell them how these cards work when you want to change some of your abilities.
Right. So let's say you've gone ahead and you've gotten to seasoned, and you've picked up another conduit. You spent an edge. You get another one. So you pick that up. Now you have 3, but you only use 2. You got to switch out.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just have that card. I don't know what my power list. I don't want to write it down, or you could just look at the card, kind of like in the game. You just switch it out and look at it. Yeah. And of course, you can respec right away and just play what you want. And so it the cool thing is, even though you've picked up more powers, you don't have access to them all the time. That would be overwhelming. I picked up 3 edges and now I have 22 powers or some ridiculous amount. Instead, you have access to what's on these 2 cards. And so if you pick up the assault rifle, say, and you're a veteran, you get all the powers from veteran on down. So you're good to go.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, let's go back to this. I want to show off some of the sweet art that's in this. So here, I mean, you got your own action deck. Now, this is all going to be delivered through drive-through, correct?
Right. We're doing print on demand.
Okay.
And so when you, one thing to always make sure people understand, when you back this project, when you go to print, you will print at cost. So whatever it costs to print those items, that's what you will pay above and beyond. And we've listed that in the Kickstarter, how much those costs are. So you can decide what works for you. But everyone gets the PDF as part of the Kickstarter, but then you can go back and go, I want to print the book, or I want to print the conduit cards, or whatever. And whatever they cost. Like the conduit cards cost like $2. It's a set of 9.
Yeah. Now you guys are at almost 22,000, and I'm kind of biased of wanting to get you guys to 25 as quickly as possible.
Because you want to get paid.
Because you're a stretch goal. Because
I'm a stretch goal.
If we get to 25,000, we unlock a new adventure for the Secret World game, written by Savage Worlds alumni and celebrity host of Savage Universe, J.M. Defoe.
Oh, I see. I thought you picked me because I was so tall. I'm a stretch goal. No? Okay.
No, it's because you're also both.
That's right. Yeah, we've got the same haircut. In fact, you could interchange these squares.
You really could.
I don't know who would know which of us is what. So you've got the conduit cards, you've got the action deck, you've got the book, and the book has so the factions were such a huge part of the game and sort of colored a lot of things. And it was one of those first games that, I mean, we all think back, at least I think back to WoW, and you had the Alliance versus the Horde. But the Secret World gave you 3 and gave you like intense rivalries. I remember there being just these massive, intense rivalries online between like the Illuminati and the Dragon, or the Templars and the Illuminati. So you have different covers that people can choose from. And you have, well, let's go through some of the art. So talk to us about this piece.
That's an entrance to Agartha, which is the Hollow World, which is a neat. So, I mean, you play the video game, you understand what that means for those that don't. But what it's really cool is that in many games, if you were to play a modern setting, well, how am I going to get from point A to point B in a reasonable time? Do I got to get on a jet, drive a car? And all those things are still part, the real world. That sometimes that because not every world would work, but it's essentially you're like entering into another dimension, stepping out a doorway somewhere else, and there you go. You're in this giant tree. It's
it was basically the fast travel.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you've watched the new Godzilla movies,
Hollow Earth,
the Hollow Earth is the same thing, right? How does Godzilla get from one side of the planet to the other?
It is essentially, there are some similarities. Obviously, it's not giant monsters. Well, there could be.
Yeah. But you can have a Benny. That's right.
You're essentially walking around like these big tree branches and find these gateways, and you can walk go all sorts of places.
So Jeffrey actually is asking this question about the rivalries of the guild, and I would like to address this if I could.
Go for it. And by the way, BattleTech is one of my original games. House Steiner forever, and if you play clans, get that stuff off my board. But this was the first time in like an MMO that I really saw it capture that same thing that we had seen in tabletop gaming before. Sorry, Ross, over to you.
It's fine. I would love to hear you wax poetic about Agartha and all the passageways, but about the factions, because we were just talking about them. When you create a character, you are given the choice of allegiance, like which of these 3 factions does your character belong to? And one of the core themes of this game is kind of like, who do you serve, right? Because you are all working to protect Gaia. There's this guy called Zuberi who's kind of sending you out on missions and things like that. And you are a team of people that may be from multiple factions, but your factions may have their own agendas. They may have their own secret mission And that is literally a term from the book. There's a whole section on it in the book about the secret missions that the factions can assign to you. So you may be like, okay, so Zuberi is sending us out to do this thing, but I have this other thing over here that the Templars want me to do. And you will get rewarded for that. So, and sometimes you may have your own personal stake in the story as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the question of who do you serve it's baked right into the game.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I just wanted to cover that really quick while we were talking about
that's great.
There's even the agendas are listed here that kind of tell you like what you kind of would be like if you were aiming for, like you play the Templar, here's the things you might be asked to do and so on.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, please go on and talk about Agartha. And
No. I was going to go to the next piece.
We covered Agartha. We're good.
Okay.
And obviously this is Illuminati headquarters. I mean, it's just we include it because it really gives you a feel for what these places might look like. You know, I mean, obviously inside their headquarters, they're not shy about sharing their faction affiliation quite. There it is.
Yeah.
It's cool. Just some general locations in the game, or a lot of this is the concept art we took. Oh,
Mothman! This is one of the new creatures that we're including in the book.
And really ties into a certain person's preference and story in the intro that Shane Hensley wrote.
That's true. And
that's true. Very true.
Some dragon. I believe we use
Warlock,
that for the Warlock. Yeah.
Dragon Warlock. We've got
that's Templar mercenaries. Hand of Aiden, I believe. I don't want to say the wrong one. Yeah, okay. Make sure I got the
Andrew
name
Bontempi
right.
is doing a lot of the artwork for our monsters.
And it's great.
Really
that piece right there was also done. That Ron Root did the lines for it, and Annie Ghosh did the colors on that one. Yeah, we got all three of those guys did a lot of great art for us.
The art in this project is spectacular. Well done in the art direction.
It's another Bontempi. You would know, of course, Bontempi from all the covers of Accursed that he did for me.
That is actually that's Ron Root.
Is it? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, well, that's because Annie does the colors over it, so it's harder to tell because Annie paints over it. So it really it's hard to tell who does what.
Fair enough. Yeah. You're the art director, so you know.
And that's the
at least one of us knows.
Scarecrow.
That's the Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm. So that's the vampires.
The vampires are just. I love the claws. I love everything about this piece.
That's the Hulk. I mean, no, that's that's a hulking zombie.
It is a hulking zombie.
Yeah.
So if you have not backed this yet, go back it now. One, they're under $200 from hitting 22,000. Two, they are so far along in the process that this is not a if, but when.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how much you want me to share. I got to read the manuscript, and it looks great.
There's a working PDF,
yeah,
but we're not making a guarantee. We know that we're going to be able to deliver in a really good time. We just don't want to say it's this right minute in case because we want to get it right.
Yeah.
So we don't want to
100%
make a promise and rush to get there, but you're not going to wait long for it.
I should point out, our top tier is actually called the Mission Number 1, and you get to play a game with the lore master of the Secret World, Joshua Deutsch. That tier is full.
Yes.
But we may open up a second mission.
We will.
If that is the kind of thing that's important to you, let us know. Give us a comment or send us an email.
Yeah.
We are connected on all the social medias. StarAnimalStudios.com. Please let us know. And if you guys are like, yeah, we want to play more games with the lore master or with me or with Brandon, we can make that happen. It's just a question of is there the demand for it? It seems like there is, because that mission is completely sold out.
It's gone, and there were 12 of them, so I'm guessing 2 tables.
Five. There was 5.
Oh, 12 items included. Sorry.
Yeah, they get all the items that. If you buy that tier, you get everything. Yeah.
Yeah, mission number 1 is also you get everything and the game. So, but this is your chance if you ever wanted to sit down with some of the guys that made the Secret World. Joshua Deutsch is a writer on the Secret World. He
mostly did the voice of the buzzing, which is pretty cool. A lot of people like that. I think he didn't come out at the very beginning of the game, but I don't know if it was middle or whatever he came on. But he wrote a lot of the buzzing commentary, the things when you get those comments from the buzzing and such. That's where it's coming from.
Yeah, no character art level this time. We learned some lessons from our first stab at the Secret World for 5e, which is our first Kickstarter. And yeah, it just turned out to be a little too unwieldy, so we're not doing the character art levels.
Unfortunately, it just ate up so much time and resources that it was just too much to do. So,
well, you guys want to go through some of the archetypes and show them off?
sure.
All right, so we've got a Templar Demolisher here.
Which is the coolest because it's a Templar. So.
It's because it's a Templar. Thank you, Brandon. I agree. Somebody said something about dragons, and obviously they are objectively wrong.
Not dragon.
Right, the dragon. Yeah, they're objectively wrong. I will accept Illuminati fans. My alt was an Illuminati, but
no dragon.
The most numerous sold collector cover from the previous when we did the 5e version was the Illuminati. Templar were second, and Dragon were last. I'm just saying those that support it. That's what it was. But yeah, there's the Templar Demolisher. They start off with the. Go ahead.
What's the Demolisher? What's kind of the idea behind playing that archetype?
Well, they demolish things.
Well, right, cool. Moving on.
They have the blade and the hammer conduit. They're the pretty they're the heavy hitters, especially you want to get up in melee. I mean, that's you look at the edges like first strike, provoke, keep people, keep the contact on. They got some of the heaviest armor we put on any of the characters. Of course, you could buy armor for your other characters, but as an archetype, they start off with that a lot more than the others. And that's really basically where it starts. And then if you were looking at the conduits, then you would have an idea, kind of what powers they have.
And again, these are just examples. You can be a gunslinger for any of the factions. You can be a demolisher for any of the factions. But we chose to give them a face with a particular, like, here's what this would look like as a character of that faction.
Yeah, and I love that.
So
I don't want to show off all the stuff, but I kind of want to show off all the stuff.
So one of the interesting things about the gunslinger is, it makes a little less sense for the gunslinger, but the pistol, one of the powers you can do as a free action is give yourself the ability to take that other action without a penalty. The gunslinger's already got 2-gun kid. We made him ambidextrous. But what's important to remember is, like, say you were playing the Demolisher and you pick up pistol, you can spend that point and you're automatically more proficient with your weapon. So, the gunslinger's a specialist in it. They got the pistol, but those that, just pick up pistol later on will help them out. But yeah, they're, again, and I really like the way we took these faction symbols, not faction symbols, these archetype symbols and got them done up there. I think it's kind of neat to say, I'm the gunslinger, here's my symbol, or whatever, that kind of stuff we have on there as well.
So you guys also have a adventure that's coming with the
that's right,
the Stoneward Bound. Stoneward Bound. You want to give us a high level overview of what's included in that adventure, or what the?
I can talk about that.
Let Ross do that one. I'm not.
All right. So Stoneward Bound, written by, again, the very inestimable Daryl Hardy, is about Boston, and there is a fog rolling in, and it is causing all kinds of strange supernatural events, and there's a coven of witches that are suspected to be behind it. You, as the bees, are tasked to find out exactly what's going on in Boston and how to stop it, if possible. Now, the question is, can you determine the truth from all of the lies?
Very cool.
Stoneward Bound. It's a lot of fun, and it does showcase. It's meant to be an introductory adventure, so it's a good way to bring people in and say, "Here's what the Secret World is
about." Janata says, "I'm looking forward to this scenario. The video game trailers have always made my imagination travel." Awesome. Cool. Yes.
It's an introductory adventure, but I don't think it's a one session adventure. Even in Savage Worlds, I think you'll play it for. I mean, if you're playing 4-hour sessions, it's not a one. I think it's a 2, depending on how you play, 3 session adventure.
Depending on group size, 2 or 3.
And length of time you play. Yeah, sure.
Very cool. Well, I would be remiss in my duties as Savage Universe celebrity host, which is what I'm going to change my little title bar down here to, if I didn't say, well, I happen to know that there are things still on the horizon for Star Anvil Studios, and we will, of course, have you on.
Oh,
when
we'd love to.
those thresholds are crossed. But you, I know you have another Kickstarter coming out, not on the heels of this, but after this one kind of makes its way through fulfillment. Do you want to bring that up again?
Enemies
Brandon?
Unleashed.
I can talk about it.
So you talk about that one because that's really you're like,
Well,
I love it, but you are the guy behind that one.
we have a bunch of Savage Worlds goodness on the way. Okay, and the first one that's coming after Savage Secret World, which is that's what I'm calling it, is Savage Secret World. But after that, it's a product called Enemies Unleashed, and it is a book of supervillains for your Savage superhero game. And the idea is the book presents a prison, and it presents all the supervillains, and there is a prison break. And the supervillains are thus unleashed into your campaign. And each one of the villains has a write-up that includes not only their powers and their background and their personality, but also what role they played in the breakout, if any, and whether or not they're redeemable. Because I've always thought one of the most interesting things about a supervillain is whether or not they are someone you can eventually team up with, or maybe even turn back to the light.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Magneto taking over the X-Men and Chris Claremont,
for example,
right? Just to pull that one out of nowhere
randomly, yeah.
Like, I mean, I would even more recently, Superior Spider-Man, right? Doc Ock takes over Peter Parker's body and ends up becoming a hero for at least a little while.
My go-to example is actually a member of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, which is Sandman, and he went from petty
Hey, Marco,
to an actual for real hero. I think he even became an Avenger at one point. So yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
Hawkeye started out as a criminal.
I was just going to say Hawkeye. A large chunk of the Thunderbolts, right?
The Thunderbolts. Oh God, yeah, like the whole thing with the Thunderbolts. Yeah. So that's kind of the deal with Enemies Unleashed. I'd love to come back on here and tell you all about it, show off the really cool art.
Yeah.
And we have some really.
I think we should do that.
We have some really amazing authors that helped write. Guys who have been doing superhero stuff for a really long time. If anybody remembers Scott Heine from Champions, he came and worked for me on Enemies Unleashed. If you remember Bill Coffin from Heroes Unlimited.
And playing in fantasy and Rifts.
He came and wrote for me on this project. Got Jared Twang, we've got Robert Dorff, we've got a lot of really good superhero guys to come over and write on Enemies Unleashed.
That's fantastic.
I didn't write anything, which is good.
But you did all the art direction, so
yes.
Well, I have to say, I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of Ross's writing. We've worked together on a ton of things. I have a bunch of books that he wrote on my shelf.
Thank you.
And I'm a huge fan of your art direction, Brandon. Like,
thanks. So is Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's actually something we forgot to talk about. There is something really cool and special for Pinnacle fans in the Savage Secret World.
Yes.
We have a 2-page forward by Shane Hensley himself, because Shane is a big fan of the Secret World. And he brought out a lot of really interesting, fascinating details of like the stuff that he was really into and what it inspired with him. So yet another reason for Savage Worlds fans to come check us out is that forward, which I think we've actually used in some of our promotional materials.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I also had the novice version of the gunfighter for Templar. I sent him his own.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
He has his own. He's the only one who gets that archetype.
So Janata had a question for you. They just arrived. Is there a quick play of the game?
You mean like a jump start? Is that what they're asking?
I'm assuming. I don't know.
The answer right now is no, because it would have. We will probably work towards that once we finish this, because it won't take as much to convert and put some stuff together. But no, not yet.
Gray March, as the Savage Universe celebrity host, I am not Landauer, so I don't make prognostications or spoilers as to products or their delivery. Opinions of the show reflect only their own.
I mean, I can say this.
Pinnacle in any way, shape, or form.
I can say this. We delivered the 5e version, and this is very, very close to being ready to go.
It's 1 yard
just-
line, guys.
It is.
Like,
Yeah, we're right there. It's like a couple. I mean, it's going to be a matter of weeks, not months.
Yeah, we had the advantage of taking all the lore and writing and art from the first book and just converting and then making, what makes it a Savage Worlds game.
Right.
And did that, but we didn't have to start, whereas the 5e version was from the ground up, gathering all the lore across multiple sources, getting approvals for the lore. It was a lot. And now we have a good base book to build from, which really helped us just put a lot of time into focusing on the rules side of tweaks that make this feel great for Savage Worlds.
Which, not to make a Secret World pun, but the game hums like that. Those rules are fantastic. Like, I mean, Brandon sent me a copy and wanted feedback, and most of my feedback was, holy crap, you captured this specific thing from the game so perfectly. So
it buzzes, it doesn't hum.
It buzzes.
And then later this year, we will finally have the long-awaited, much touted, much art shared Saints and Sinners.
Yes. Saints and Sinners,
yes.
Which we are going to start calling at some point subtitle, or the main title is actually going to be Starbreaker, to kind of overlook the brand, because I have other things I want to do, and there are other ways of looking. So Saints and Sinners is how you play it now, but maybe you play Star Marines or Scouts, and so we kind of want to put it under an umbrella term, so to speak. But
and for anybody who doesn't know, Saints and Sinners is a gritty sci-fi setting with it's very Han Solo. Yeah. You're out on the rim of the known galaxy dealing with scum, but it is heroic in the way that you are actually infiltrating and to try and take down the syndicate from within. It's really neat.
Or make your own syndicate if you want to play the other side.
And like many of the Star Anvil Studios products, the art is just choice. Yeah, just fantastic.
Just to make JM go.
I know, he showed me that he's got a Knights Arcanum T-shirt. I'm like, I must
there's
have.
a lot.
That's further down.
So there's a lot of Savage Worlds goodness coming from us. We are planning on doing a bunch.
I feel like it does Billy Berserker like one specific species in
sure
I know I've seen comments like this. I can't remember which alien race did you
he loves the Vukula side, the wolf people. Those are his favorite.
The wolf people. Okay,
does not like the bat people at all.
Yeah. Why would you play a bat person, right?
The only thing about him is I would say he's probably the first super fan of the setting from when I first started sharing art. And he gathered along the way for years that I shared bits of my ideas and writings, put it together, and ran the setting himself from that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So now I just share the stuff with him. And here's a copy of what I currently got. He practice runs it, and he lets me know how he thinks.
All right.
Well, he's kind of earned it.
I just hand out bennies on the stream for people who do cool things, but Billy, that deserves a conviction. That's spectacular. First conviction ever given out on Savage Universe.
Wow.
We're 35 minutes in, so if your GM is like, why do you have a conviction? Just pull up this video and show him.
Yeah, I was given permission to have conviction from JM, and therefore
Celebrity Savage Universe.
Celebrity Savage Universe. Yeah, it counts.
Awesome.
For a while, I used to sign my books. If people wanted a signature, I would also put a little checkbox and say, this is good for one free, resource or whatever game that was.
Oh, nice.
And then had a little a line for the GM to sign it so when it was used. So people could take the signed book and be like, hey, I've got a free, Benny.
We should add that to the front of the book and say owning this book is good for one free Benny in your first game session. GM must check it off though, then it's used.
Gray March, you are my man. The fame rub. Yes, I know. I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. It also, do you remember like when you would order products from Steve Jackson Games back in the mid 2000s, you would always get these Munchkin bookmarks that would do just outrageously stupid things if you were playing Munchkin, but then you would have to destroy the bookmark.
I still have one of those.
Yeah,
I was not destroyed. I'm like, I can't use it. I must keep it.
Well, then you luck out, Billy, because Brandon already knows that you're going to get the conviction.
Right, you can have it, but I'm killing your character. No,
it's a fair trade.
I mean, if I could ask for a favor,
Yeah.
one of the things we'd love to get from the Savage Worlds community is if you guys could help us spread the word about the Secret World.
Yes.
It's we just launched. We're kind of just about to hit those doldrums, and the Star Anvil Studios needs your help, man. Like the more you can boost this, the better it does for us. The faster we can get you more of that Savage Worlds goodness that we have planned, lined up. In the silo. So yeah, do us a favor and tell your buddies, share the post on Facebook, whatever. We appreciate
only
it.
need $97 more to hit 22,000.
I know
Come on,
you just
before we
crossed
log
21.
off, guys.
JM,
But wait, there's
special is
more.
in sight.
Wait, there's more. Yeah.
No, you know what? Share it. Share it on social media. When you back it, it says, "Hey, would you like to share this post on your socials?" Please do that. Like, I mean, as the Savage Universe community manager, which is my other title, which does not have the shine on it, like, part of the joy of doing stuff like this is seeing the community rally around great products. And I mean, guys, we're a grassroots, deeply loyal fandom, and obviously Ross and Brandon love creating Savage World stuff. So get out there and show them some support. We're gonna, Iconic is gonna make some posts next week on our social medias. I'm talking about it every Tuesday and Thursday on Behind the Screen before the Kickstarter runs out. Next week I've got an article ready to go on the new on the Savage Universe site. Like, we're doing our part. You guys need you don't need to do your part, but if you want to see more goodness, if you like all the stuff that we're talking about, we can't let Billy down. Billy Berserker needs his copy of Saints and Sinners. Right? Hashtag do it for Billy Berserker.
I feel like when you say doing our part, I feel like Starship Troopers. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Remember, service guarantees citizenship.
Yes. Or in this case, books.
But service guarantees books.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah.
This has been a great opportunity. We love Savage Universe. We love the Savage Worlds community. And it's always a great time to come out here and engage with them and talk to you. So really appreciate it.
That's right. Hashtag do it for Billy.
Do it for Billy.
That's right. I feel like we're gonna have a Save Ferris moment with the billboard.
I heard he was really sick, like in the hospital.
I know, it was like I heard it was even worse. Well, Brandon, Ross, thanks for joining us. We'll be back actually next week. We're gonna have back-to-back Savage Universe episodes. Next Thursday, we're talking with Jacob, and he just put out the Sleuth Squad. So come join us next week as well. And again, if you are a fan writer, a swag author, an ace, if you produce a Savage Worlds show, podcast, stream, reach out to me. We would love to have you on the show and signal boost it. Let everybody know what you're doing and what's cool, what's coming up, what just came out, what's coming up. That's my job. Go to savageuniverse.com, scroll down to the bottom. There's a email address there. It sends an email directly to me. I would love to fill the summer with Savage Universe streams.
We'll help you out.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And obviously listen to Wild 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 Cards.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's a show I co-host with Mike Lafferty of Fainting Goat Games, and we talk about all things Savage Worlds.
Yep.
And we'll be there talking about Secret World again.
That's right.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a good one. Go out there and play some Savage Worlds, and may all your dice ace.
Woo! Fire Lance.
Also, that's Ross's and Brandon's band name is Viral Ants. Got to keep it all together.
Nice.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.